Okay. Hello, everyone. Yes, so Joy, please can we have your camera on? I think we. Joy, please can you hear me?
Okay,
Hello,
yes.
can
So
you?
yes, my camera will come on now. Switching to the text. Yeah.
Okay, all right, great. All right. So at this point, I think I will just start. So a very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you're joining us. I'm super excited to have every one of you on our first episode of C-Suite Corner with MJ for the year 2005. That being said, I want to say a very happy new year to you all. As usual, I will just run us through a bit of what the C-Suite Corner with MJ is all about. Once again, I want to welcome you to our vibrant platform. And the aim is to explore the most crucial topics at the intersection of technology and business. It's a monthly episode, and what we try to do as much as possible in most of our episode is to delve into cutting edge innovation and leadership strategies, most times with specific focus on artificial intelligence, data management, and cybersecurity. Our objective is to equip our audience with valuable insights and also to give you that level of practical experiences and expert perspective actually to help you as an individual or even as an organization to navigate the ever evolving technology landscape, most especially the emerging technology of our day. So, welcome once again as we embark on this thrilling journey of learning and growth. And for this month's episode, the title is the 2025 Horizon Transforming Organization with AI, Data, and Security Synergy. But before we move on, I just want us to meet our host in the person of me and then our panelists also. So, first, I guess everybody knows me, but as a way of introduction, my name is Olajumo Keturel. I'm the Chief Technology Officer at Asham Limited. I've been in the IT space for nearly 2 decades. It's been quite a very challenging and most importantly, a very rewarding journey. I'm a Microsoft certified trainer, a Microsoft most valuable professional, and also a Microsoft regional director um, in Nigeria. I'm also the co-founder of Textile, a community that is focused on bringing more women into tech. And one interesting thing about me is that if I'm not doing anything IT, I love to cook. Yes, I do love to cook. And for simplicity, you can actually refer to me as MJ, but like I used to say, it does not mean in any way Michael Jackson. MJ is just a fun name that you will know me with. So feel free to reach out to me, MJ. And for those of us that maybe might not be able to put a face or you have a problem, I'm a lady with low cut, I have a pair of glass, and um I have a brown skin. So moving on, so meet our panelists. And then the first person on the list is the wonderful Tosin Shoku Bukola. Show Bukola, sorry. Tosin Show Bukola. Tosin Show Bukola is the seasoned enterprise technology solution and business innovation leader. He has over 17 years of experience across multiple industries is a leading apricot solution and craft innovating solution driving digital transformation. Oh, sorry, I take that again. He is leading apricot solution and crafts innovation solution, and he drives digital transformation, artificial intelligence, and data analytics there. His tenure at Microsoft saw him revolutionize cloud solutions, saving clients significant cost. And as the founder of Analytics Africa, a social enterprise company, he fostered talent and inclusivity in data analytics. With diverse interests, including podcasts and community service hosting, Tosin is a thoroughbred professional with global impact who embodies excellence and innovation, poised to propel organizations to unparalleled success. Once again, I want to welcome you, Tosin. Thank you for taking our time to join us in this episode of Six Street Corner with NG. The next on the panel is Joy Emedo. This is a very dear sister of mine. And then why I'm called MG, you can call her FG. Also, Joy Emedo is an accomplished IT professional passionate about leveraging information technology to tackle organization challenges and craft custom solutions. With a rich background spanning over 12 years, she has consistently been at the aim of designing innovative solutions that caters to a wide range of sectors. And also as the manager of data protection at Avalon, Joy continues to make stride by offering top-notch cybersecurity solutions to a diverse clientele. Joy is a staunch advocate for early cybersecurity education and champions the catch them young philosophy. She has taken significant strides in this direction through her initiative, which is building a career in Microsoft security for beginners. Actually, this program is specially designed to mentor and coach individuals in their early stage of their career, paving the way for the next cadre of seasoned professionals in the cybersecurity domain. Another thing that Joy is known for is she's the co-founder of Mama Cyber Shield. It's a community for stay-at-home moms that are interested in learning cybersecurity. And tonight we are going to tap from our wealth of knowledge. Once again, I say welcome, Joy. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Six Street Corner with NJ. Next on the panel is one person that I describe as my brother from another mother. Samuel Andrae is a Microsoft MVP, is a senior software engineer and a technical lead who possesses extensive experience and expertise in various areas of application development. He also has experience in cloud computing, data analytics, the Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, mixed reality, and robotics. So you quite agree with me that we have someone with great expertise and knowledge on this call tonight. Apart from this, he has over 15 years in all the phases of software development. So from small projects to large scale implementation, you find Samuel there. Samuel is also the founder and chief technology officer of AfriLogic Solution, a dynamic company that is based in Accra, Ghana. Is committed to harnessing innovative information technology to create cutting-edge solutions that emphasize sustainability. And then I'll use this opportunity also to congratulate my brother because he's also selected. One of his initiatives, which is Crafted Climate, is actually selected as a finalist in the African Tech Summit. Thank you so much, Samuel, for joining us. I believe that we're going to tap from your knowledge, from the wealth of knowledge, and you're going to contribute very, very positively even to this conversation. Thank you once again for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and then I will not say you saved the best for the last, so I will not say last but not the least. I think I won't say that about this wonderful person I'm about to introduce. And this person is David Okeyode. If there is anybody that knows David Okeyode, I'm just going to give a little bit of background. He's someone that speaks, that dissects security in a way that it's so simplified for a layman to understand. So as a way of introduction, David is a multi-cloud and cloud native security specialist at CrowdStrike. Before then, he was the EMEA Chief Technology Officer for Azure at Palo Alto Networks and an independent consultant that helped companies secure their Azure environment through private expert level training and assessment. He has authored 4 books on cloud security, including penetration testing, Azure for ethical hacker, and Microsoft Azure security technologies certification and beyond. He has also authored multiple cloud computing courses for popular training platforms like LinkedIn Learning and Cybery. He holds numerous cloud certification across Azure and AWS platform, and he was recently awarded the AWS Golden Jacket Award. I would say a big congratulations to you, David, on that milestone achievement. And once again, thank you for always honoring my invitation. Thank you for, I know how busy you are, but I appreciate you for always taking out time to join us. So once again, thank you for coming in.
Oh, thanks very much, MJ. We're only trying to follow your example and my other guys and madam's example.
All right. Okay, and once again, I want to say a very big thank you to our wonderful audience. I mean, thank you for taking out your time to join us. We understand today is Thank God for Friday, TGIF. We know how a lot of us will be looking forward to go have some fun, but taking our time to also join us here, we really, really appreciate you. You guys are wonderful. You guys rock. And then I promise you, you're going to, I mean, you're in for a swell time, even for the next one or 1 hour, 30 minutes. Now, but before we begin, a bit of housekeeping rules. This session will be recorded and will be made available for future viewing. So no problem if you cannot stay to the end of this session, you will actually get the recording. Another thing I want to tell you is just to pen down your questions till the Q&A session. Also indicate with the raise of hand feature by the time you're allowed to speak so that we can unmute you and then you can speak up. Also follow us on the LinkedIn. This is our LinkedIn URL. Subscribe also to our YouTube channel for you to keep up to date on all of our events, and then follow us also on the X channel. So discussing the topic of today, the 2025 Horizon Transforming Organization with AI, Data, and Security Synergy. One of the things that we try to do with this topic is actually for us to explore the significant impact that the combination of artificial intelligence and advanced data analytics we have on the strategic landscape of organization in this year 2025. A lot has been going on for the past few months, even from December. A lot of things. You've seen the agentization of AI. I'm sure a lot of you, if you're new to it, don't worry. I'm sure some of our panelists are going to throw more light on that, even while they're answering some of the questions we're going to ask them. Another thing we're going to do is to look into how all of these technologies can actually improve operational efficiency, how you can simplify decision-making process and elevate customer engagement. Furthermore, we're going to discuss the vital security challenges in managing and protecting large amounts of sensitive data. If you ever follow any of our session, you realize that I make mention of it a lot, that artificial intelligence actually feeds on data. Data is the fuel of artificial intelligence, of AI. But how do we protect all of this large amount of sensitive data? How do organizations manage all of the challenges and the opportunities that comes with the adoption of artificial intelligence? And then again, as organizations increasingly depend on data-driven insight to shape their strategy, to also grasp data privacy implication, regulatory compliance, and cybersecurity, our discussion is actually going to highlight the best practice for striking a balance really between the technological innovation and the security of the organization asset. thereby ensuring sustainable growth within a rapidly evolving digital environment. And so we will kick in into that because we don't want to waste a lot of your time. And once again, you're in for a very, very, very informative session, for a very great ride. And so we'll get into it ASAP. Now, the first question I'm going to ask, and I'm going to bring up Sam, really. And this question is for Sam. So, my question to you, Sam, I want to change the view a bit. My question to you, Sam, is that in 2025, Sam, it's predicted that 75% of enterprise will operationalize AI. What barriers might organizations face in achieving this, and how can they overcome them? So over to you,
So,
Sam.
thank you very much, Jumoke. That's a very interesting question. And the number, I believe, if you look at the rate at which advancement is happening, that number could probably even be higher. One of the things that we should anticipate, right, or are looking at is to look at to something, some of the things that would exponentially drive, adapting and digitization in today's organization is actually going to be the merger of AI, data analytics, right, and cyber, which is what we're talking about. It's going to enhance what I term as interconnectivity, right, and intelligence across the systems. Um, just to pick off, just it's January is just about ending today, but as of last week, I think as of last week, questions about DeepSeek models coming. There is Alibaba Kwan, there's even Kinney, and raised a lot of concerns in the areas of even funding. How much is even required, what kind of hardware is required. But if you take all that aside, that shows you that the trajectory of advancement of this AI is moving at a very fast pace, and that means that for companies, adoption is also going to be will have to move at that pace, right? Because a lot of these technologies are coming up, and companies that don't already have the existing infrastructure to adopt AI, right, and infuse it in their business will now have a challenge. Like, for instance, today people are asking, do I do DeepSeek? Do I still continue paying 200 or something dollars with ChatGPT? Do I use this model? So already you can see the pressures, right? That's coming up. But if you ask me, one of the ways that they can overcome it, I think in our very last one of the episodes we did, also aligning with this, we talked about being in the middle, embracing the rapid change of AI, internally establishing kind of like for lack of better words, a directive or an arm in your business that is looking into this forward going technologies, being open to the change and see how they can adopt it and aligning with their business to make sure that they are not left behind. They're using it to be competitive, and they are using it in the very ethical way. And I'll give you an example. One of the areas I know this is like David's area, but one of the areas that I see a lot of even potential alignment is in autonomous security operation centers, right? Because the AI is getting more powerful now, we are likely to see a lot of autonomous security operation centers powered by AI, right? That can even predict the threat before they materialize. And these are just an example of use cases where businesses can even apply to their apply strategies to their business. So you can even anticipate setting customer behavior or patterns. Is this customer likely to continue business with me or to purchase, and even offer them customized pricing or customized discounts. So 2025 has started with a bang, if you ask me. There's a lot to unpack in 2025. Any company that, as of now, doesn't realize that the AI era is real is going to be in for a big shock if they don't at least adapt it to some to certain extent. That's my take on that.
All right, thank you so much. So, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen because I actually want to highlight our speaker as much as possible, and then I'll be throwing out the questions so that we can have. Now, this question really is going to all of our speakers really, and I'm going to be calling us one after the other, starting with Tosin really, and then the question is, looking at what 2025 is, how do you see artificial intelligence, data analytics? I know Sam has thrown a little bit of highlight on that, but I just want to ask again, how do you see all of these technologies, artificial intelligence, data analytics, and cybersecurity collaboratively transforming organization operations in 2025? So I know Sam has touched on it, but in terms of data usage, what do you foresee as the exponential growth of data? What is it going to be like? And then how do you foresee the challenges that organizations are going to experience in this year with that with the advancement that is coming with AI and all of these technologies collaborating together to help organization grow?
Okay, thank you very much, MJ. Good evening, everyone. Again, I'm happy to be here. So, like Sam has said, a lot of things are going to happen. We have started seeing them. For me, I will take it from a lot of perspectives. The first perspective is that we have always had AI, but the spark in late 2022 generated a lot of change, the generative AI spark that we had late 2022. So because of generative AI, which has now brought AI down for mere mortals, it is going to now get into mainstream adoption, because typically you are always going to have the market leaders like Microsoft and Google and maybe Facebook who try to force the direction for everybody. That's what they actually do. They force everybody to go into that direction because for reasons best known to them. Now, I promise you, everybody does, all of us that are saying that we are doing AI, we don't know what we are doing. We are all trying. We are all shooting, learning to shoot with live bullets. If somebody gets injured in the process, we treat him quickly, we send him back to the battlefield and everything. But that's what we are doing. And that was proved very well this past week. So that's number one. But now it's going to come down from that tier 1 level. It's going to come down to tier 2. It's going to come down to tier 2, where organizations are now going to begin adopting it, whether they like it or not. At some point, things today now, everybody that wants to prove a point in AI is trying to model ChatGPT. So DeepSeek, when you look at the ChatGPT interface, DeepSeek is a clone. When you look at the Coin interface, it's a clone. When you look at Perplexity or Claude, it's a clone. At some point, we're not going to have the ChatGPT anymore. Maybe not in 2025, maybe in 2026, 2027. It's going to become a way of life. And you now see that GPT feature embedded in products and solutions. How do I mean? You have things like your Canva, Canva was the Microsoft Word for graphics design. So you did not need, when I got to Canva, I entered heaven, because I was never able to learn Photoshop or CorelDRAW for some reason. Maybe I was not just intelligent enough or so, but I was never able to learn Photoshop or CorelDRAW. But the fact that I could just drag something like PowerPoint and have my flyer ready, Canva gave me that paradise. Now I can go into Canva and I can put a prompt in Canva and Canva will give me that image. So I visualize the thing in my head, I type it in Canva and I get it. So I don't need to go into ChatGPT to go and do it and bring it. We're going to see a lot of that. So a lot of products are going to have the generative feature. Now, I wish I had 10 minutes, but I don't, so I'll squeeze this more. If we now look at legislation, Europe, who are the kings of legislation, have kicked in the European Union law last year, and it began to come into force last year, and a lot of it is going to come into force this year. So a lot of people are going to copy Europe. Nigeria has a strategy that is somehow, but is going to get better this year. Kenya also released their own strategy. Was it late last year or early this year, which was more focused, more direct, and more robust? We're going to see more of that. Australia, Singapore, and all that have their own. In terms of, so what is the implication of this? Our PCI, our ISO, our NIST, and all those kind of conversations. Now, because of the GDPR owners who have also now given us the EU AI law, those things will now start bearing resemblances of AI or taking AI into cognizance. Now, organizations, like I said, adoption is now going to improve and increase. Organizations before, when they heard cloud, we are not in the cloud though, we are not a cloud company, we will not touch it. Now, whether they like to touch it or not, if they don't touch it, they will die. So now they are touching cloud. This is the period where they will now start touching AI, whether they like it or not. For those who are Microsoft guys, and you're using the paid Microsoft version, whether you like it or not now, Copilot is inside your Microsoft Office. And you cannot turn it off. You are typing in Word, you are saying Copilot. So it has entered. I'm speaking like a real African now. The AI has entered your office. So there's no way in your Microsoft Office, the Copilot icon is there. So it shoved down your throat, whether you like it or not. I don't use iOS, so I don't know what is going on there. I'm not sure if I'm too smart to use it yet, but on my Android Samsung, I can just press the bottom of my screen. I don't have to go to Google Lens again. Anything I want to, before I would take a screenshot, carry it to Google Lens and say, what is this about? But now I just press the bottom of my phone. Samsung will give me the feature and I'm already searching. I'm AI in it. In those days, when I hear the music that I liked, I'll quickly go and carry Shazam. Shazam will translate the music and tell me the name of the music and the author. I don't need to do that again. It's inside already. So where am I going? The data. So what we now see now is that people now need to start taking more cognizance of this AI. It has entered. Now, we had Power Platform that allowed citizen developers. We had UiPath and all those things. So we already have data. Now that the AI is now in the same room with us, it was outside before. There's legislation, there's explosion, there's cheaper versions, there's the one they say you can run on your PC. Now, people are going to say, do I need to use ChatGPT or go to ChatGPT for that? Or is there the version I can deploy locally? For one of the solutions that I'm trying to work on now is where can I get all the documents that you have? You are a law firm, you are a Volvo, you are a BMW, all the user guides. Can we put it on a local platform and use that local platform to get out the data in GPT format? So organizations are going to start adopting a lot of those things and everything. So I can go on and on and on, but this is the trend we are going to see. And then they will be very more embracing to say, how do we not get left behind? And of course, when you now talk of agentic stuff, workflows, every organization, agentic is just a big funky word. It's just workflow that we have put automation inside. So
Exactly.
it's going to, who does not like, who wants to be pressing or carrying? We stop carrying files, right? But who doesn't want to just chat with a bot and get the thing come back to you and automate the process? Who doesn't want to say, block a session at 5 o'clock and it's in my Google Calendar and all that? So we're going to see a lot of people adopting it and everything. So, and of course, we're now going to start seeing small players challenging the gatekeepers. And the gatekeepers are going to respond. They respond either with legislation or they respond with their own version. And now it's going to now be a conversation of quality. Do you want to drive a car from China, or you want to drive a car from South Korea, or you want to drive a big, massive American car? Some countries are buying big, massive American cars. They don't care because they have fuel. So some people will still keep paying for OpenAI. They don't care. Some people will tell you that I can never use DeepSeek. Some people don't care. So we are going to have that good stuff. And like people have said, I wish we have more agents. I wish we have more chat platforms. And that's
Wow.
just where we're going to be. That was a TED talk, but I guess it gives context.
So,
Thank you so
Tosin,
much.
Jumoke,
Thank you.
just to a hint, actually,
Yeah,
funny
great.
enough, on my stream today, I'm actually showing how to run all these models locally. So maybe make a date with me tonight.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Tosi. Thank you, Sam. So, I mean, it's a very interesting time we are in right now. I was reading an article on First the other day by one Dr. Cornelia Water. He's actually a humanitarian leader in the UN. And then one of the things they said in that article is that the question is not whether AI will be part of our lives in the coming months, but whether it will be doing so on our own terms, really. And the question we should be asking is it leading us down a path we are consciously choosing, or is it helping us chart new territory that we are not even aware or we are not even aware of or even want to explore? Or is it
100%.
rather now shape shifting from being a slave to us and now becoming a master? And he said these are a lot of questions we're going to be asking in the next coming months. And then when DeepSeek came out, in fact, I saw one article, it was very funny. Somebody said, I thought ChatGPT is going to take my job. However, DeepSeek now has
It's
uncertain.
taking ChatGPT's job.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
It's a
Yes.
very interesting time. I mean, it's just a lot, and we have to be ready for it. And so, the questions to, I mean, like a follow-up question to you, David. My next question will be to you, and based on what's the highlights that Sam and Tosin has given, and given the massive amount of data that is going to be generated daily, predictions suggest that AI-powered cyber attacks will become more sophisticated by 2025. In fact, I hear that there will be automated attacks. So it's not an attack. So, I mean, these smart guys are actually going to automate the attack. So before you think, before you open your eyes and all of that, the whole thing has come. And then, so how can organizations stay ahead of these threats while leveraging AI for defense still?
Yeah, that's
Over
a
to
very,
you.
very good question and awesome contributions from Mr. Sam and Tosin earlier. So very, very interesting conversation. So one of the things, and we've had this conversation before, like MJ, right?
Yeah.
As a society, we tend to think more about the positive of things, right? Especially like we in the tech space. We go, oh, this thing is awesome. What can we build with it? Oh my God, look at this capability. Hardly do people pause to say, how can these things be used negatively? How can this be used in a bad way? But like, oh, let's just build stuff. Let's go, 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 go. I mean, I'm not sure if you saw like the stuff with DeepSeek, for example. DeepSeek spent, still relatively smaller than what ChatGPT spent about $5 million training this model and everything. And then a day after, there was a security researcher, a single security researcher within minutes found a whole database with sensitive data belonging to DeepSeek exposed on the internet without authentication.
Yeah.
But that kind of thing, right? We're in the security space, we're used to that because people are like so excited. Oh, we're going to do something revolutionary. Let's do something amazing. Then it's like, oh my God, you've left a lot of blood on the ground while you're doing this amazing thing, right? And it is true. The same way that the good people, the developers, like all the people that are building things are looking to leverage these advanced models. People with malicious intent are also leveraging these models. And malicious intent doesn't even necessarily mean like bad guys. I'm not sure. There was one report I was seeing recently about even like the military, like autonomous weapons, right? So there are certain multiple aspects to this that people don't like, even like that we don't even get into, like in terms of like that. So my answer to that is this, MJ. So attackers are definitely leveraging these models, and we're going to see more efficient attacks. So I work at CrowdStrike. We're actually seeing that already. So one of the things that we measure at CrowdStrike is we measure something called the breakout time. how long does it take to go from initial access to lateral movement in an environment? And we measure that because we have this managed security services, and we can see organizations that are breached and all the other stuff. And like late last year, we measured the lowest that we've ever measured, and that was 2 minutes 7 seconds. The time that it took for an attacker to enter a network and break out into lateral movement, 2 minutes 7 seconds. And a big part of that is we're thinking they're leveraging intelligent capabilities to understand how to exploit the environmental context of like the customer. And then we're like, oh my God, there's a good path, break out immediately. So instead of like doing like recon, AI does the recon for them, feed in the data, get it to do the recon for you. So, and to answer in terms of like the response side of it, what does that mean for organizations? What that means is speed. Like security principles typically don't change, but how you achieve those principles change. So that means organizations have to be even more faster in how quickly they can detect and respond to threats. And that's a difficult thing to do. Many organizations are still trying to catch up with like DevOps and DevSecOps. And now you throw all of this, is like, oh my God. And what that also means is that very few organizations are actually primed to respond to like the kind of threat that we're about to be seeing. Again, it's going to be more sophisticated, more customized, more tailored, and faster. So that's like one of the things. The other thing that also happening from like a security perspective that at least we see is around like the pace and how the application architecture is changing. So, to what Stan mentioned earlier and Satoshi mentioned earlier, people are going to be taking these models and applying them to multiple use cases. That architecture is not standardized yet. How do you secure something that's not a standard? Right? It's like, go secure it. What's the architecture that I'm going to secure? Well, it's evolving, right? Just secure it, right? So that lack of standardization makes it difficult for security people to like try to get involved. And the way that we sort of like talk about that is we have to take a step back and go back to the fundamentals, which means threat modeling, a lot of threat modeling, a lot of secure by design, a lot more admin. So organizations may need to, in the past, we used to say, security should be a little bit more relaxed. Let people go faster. Well, in the age that we're getting into, the recommendation may change to where we go, actually, you need to lock things down if you want to be safe. Otherwise, you might not be safe. Right? Like, I like the analogy that somebody gave. Somebody was like, okay, like I get like some of like this Elon Musk robot in my house. What happens when Elon Musk gives you like the instruction to attack me? I'm like, I want to go get like grocery down the road. It's like, no, I've been instructed that you're not going out of your house. How will I fight a robot?
It's like iRobot. Don't go too far. Just go watch iRobot. It's right there.
Exactly. Right. So it may be like, this robot is going to stay inside this cage all the time because I don't trust you. So anyways, that's what we're seeing, like MJ, like what Satoshi said. It's an area that's evolving. We're actually not like really too sure like what's going on. But if I were to say anything, I would say start priming your processes for security to go faster in order to how quickly can you detect, and also start taking a step back to go, how do we like threat model every single thing, which is a difficult thing. It's easier to say than to achieve, but I'll just leave it at that for now.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for that very, very wonderful contribution. I mean, I'm sure our audience are really gaining from all of this conversation. I don't know if I have Joy there, but Joy seems to be having problem with her video. Joy, but
here.
if you,
She
all
is
right,
here,
great.
but she's just on the second page.
Oh, okay. All right, great. So even if you're having problem, no problem. We'll love to hear your voice. I'm sure every one of us are eager to hear your voice. So, oh, great. So we can see you. All right. So great. I mean, a lot of contribution from all of the people that have spoken so far, and this has been quite very insightful. I mean, starting from all of the important information that is coming now, the nuggets that I'm getting from each person. one of the things we cannot shy away from is that AI also has a good part, right? And then even though we have all of these bad actors trying to say they want to take advantage of it, if you look at from a position of a customer experience to an organization that is delivering a solution and all of that, you will see that thanks to the rise of AI-driven hyper personalization, customer experience now have really undergo a remarkable transformation and is still going to go through a great transformation in 2025. That's the prediction, because you have an innovative approach. Organizations now have innovative approach, how they tailor their interaction, their services to match the unique preference and behaviors of individuals consumer that they relate with or they're offering solution and businesses to. I mean, solution or services to, I mean. Now, um, one of the things is this, that even with that hyper personalization that is AI driven, there is also the need for organization to confront the critical challenges of ensuring data privacy and security. I know that David has spoken a lot about it, and the reason why I brought two experts on security into this discussion is because I know that um, there is always the quest for how do we balance innovation with security. And so my question to you is this: what are the strategies the organization should use to tackle the challenges that come with AI driven hyper personalization experience that customers are going to get in the near future?
Okay. Thank you, everybody. It was nice listening to everybody's perspective. I was laughing when Mr. T was saying about how Canva has helped him, experience something. I'm in that space with Canva. I have published 2 books, right? Because of Canva. These were things I would not do normally, right? If I didn't have artificial intelligence and Canvas, they had helped me translate what was in my head and put it out. So we're in that era. And then speaking about, um, hyper personalization, we're in a space again where you cannot say you cannot adopt artificial intelligence. Let me tell a bit of story. My dad used to, in the 70s, used to be one of the big guys in photography. We grew up rich kid on the block, everything. But as photography began to evolve, my father did not align. And what happened was my dad was a big importer for Kodak. I don't know if you can remember
Yeah,
Kodak film, those film you
yeah.
put in cameras. My dad was one of the big Igbo importers. If you go to Lagos Island, in fact, he still has his shop labels there even after dying. But he did not evolve. When we sit back today to think and say, what happened? Look at how photography is a big deal in our time. Creatives that are, capturing image and pictures are big guys. So it wasn't the business idea that phased. It was just that my dad did not align and did not evolve with the times. And so he faded away as a business person. That's just what artificial intelligence is coming in to do to people. So people who you find out that are scared of their jobs, what will happen is that they did not move with the time. Now, what does that mean for you as an organization? You cannot live in denial of yourself. The world is evolving. The people who you are employing into your workforce we like to call them the Gen Zs, the Gen Alphas, and now we have the Gen Beta that started in this 2025, right? Now, these generations want to be creative. This generation wants to explore. If you want to box them in that same mindset that you have, what will happen is that they will move and leave you. And the challenge of that is that they will not learn what they need to learn. And so that's where we're seeing to organizations that while we understand that artificial intelligence is going to help us do so much, and it's going to expose us to so much security, expose us to so much cyber attacks, it does not mean that we should live in denial of what we need to do. There are things that we can do that will enable us still be innovative and imbibe this AI evolution and still make sure that we are secured. There are many people today, when you engage them about AI, they have no clue what is running behind it. They're just excited with the output. If you meet many young people who use AI today, you see them creating contents online. They have no idea. All these things that me and you are speaking here, trust me, it is we that are in the tech space. Majority of the creatives that are using artificial intelligence today don't know what language models are, don't know what you mean by GPT. They have no clue. So what does that mean? It means that we have a lot of
Yeah.
work to do. We need to go back to the same foundation when technology came into existence and we were excited. When internet came into existence and we were excited. And what did we do? We had to go and educate. I'm a strong advocate for education before implementation. Technical people like myself were excited to implement, we're excited to get things running, we're excited to couple things, but we forget the people, the process before the infrastructure. So in order for us to make sure that data security privacy has effect, we need to go back to the drawing board and start educating people. What does this chat GPT or this whatever model that you're using to have conversation, what does it mean to you? This thing that you're putting inside, are you aware that it is actually garbage in, garbage out? It's not as intelligent as you think. It's only as intelligent as the amount of information you give it to process. Sitting behind it is XYZ that allows it to process. So if you don't give it data, it's not going to bring out data. So have you asked yourself, should this data go in here? Am I okay with this data being accessed by everybody? This data being trained, what does it mean for us? So for me, I feel that organizations, if they spend time worrying about whether their people are using AI, they're missing the point because their people are using AI. And one way that their people are using AI is, are you aware that there are many organizations that have done risk assessment for so many software solutions? Example, Canva, and have approved this software. But guess what? AI has now been introduced to it. So guess what? They need to go back to risk assessment. I recently was engaging a couple of organizations. I said, all the SaaS solutions you have approved, majority of them, Grammarly, Microsoft Hold, Canva, they have all Zoom, they've all added AI into it. So your risk, what do you call it? Your risk landscape has increased,
Increased.
right?
Yeah.
You need to, yeah, you need to now do your risk assessment. I like the way TS is smiling, like, yeah, it has increased. So that for me, I'm just excited that there's more work for us. We in tech, there's more work. As far as I'm concerned, that's how I see it. I see it as a good evolution. I see it as that we have more work. But where I feel like the missing link is that organizations are trying to live in denial of that this thing is for a particular generation and not understanding that it's it's for that generation, yes, but it's the evolution that has come to transcend. So just like my dad who refused to catch up, photography was a business that was going to stand the test of time. His village people were not after his business. His village people were not coming for him. He was not losing sales because he was no more intelligent. It was just because he did not catch up with the times. And so now in 2025, when photography is a big deal, maybe me and my siblings would have just been coasting some nice, inheritance. Maybe I won't be talking too much in forums. We won't be coasting. We lost that whole investment of his years. So organizations need to catch up. And the first thing they need to do before even worrying about the technology is, what are the policies they have in place? What are the processes they have in place? Like David said, we don't even have any standard yet. So as an organization, you as an organization, what's your framework? What's your AI strategy? What's your AI framework for your organization? What are you saying to your organization around artificial intelligence so that you can start creating those awareness and education that get people ready for this? I don't even think we're yet ready. I don't think we have even entered the wahoo of AI. I think we're still scratching, because even the guys who are developing AI, trust me, they are just using us yet to understand what AI can do. They haven't even done what is in their vision when they started AI. So it means that if this thing has not yet exploded to the way it's expected, it means that this is the right time to start educating people so that we are now aware that, okay, so this is what this thing means. And people can, when the time comes, we can all go into it and use it. Where it's almost like social media. Facebook started way back now. Facebook but it just kept crippling in, crippling in, crippling in. And when it looked like social media has blown, boom, a lot of people were like, what is this thing that is happening? So that's the same thing that will happen with artificial intelligence. So for me, it is, we will give that personalization. You walk into a place, you see a nice receptionist who is a robot who takes your order. Maybe the next time you're coming, you're here, hello, Joy. The last time you ordered for cappuccino and this, will this be the same thing you want? And I'll be like, oh, yes. And I feel so and entertained because quick response time. But the question is, how much of that information do I want out there? Just asking, is that the kind of information that is okay for it to be there? Or is that the kind of information I'm sensitive, like, oh, I don't want somebody to be aware of this? Like you mentioned, as exciting as that new AI solution came out and people are excited, imagine that they didn't even think of the security of their database. So how much of people's information had gotten exposed just because they were excited to use the technology. So for me, we have more work. That's how I see it. And I'm excited with this evolution. And my encouragement to everybody is that let's all come in together. Don't leave. If you're a senior executive here sitting, it's not their thing. It's not for those young people. It's not for those Gen Zs. It's the next thing, so that you don't become like my dad and lose out from something you will hold on to. No village people is after us. Is the next thing that needs to happen in this world.
Absolutely, thank you. It's always fun to hear. Yes, Tosi, I see your hands up. You can add to. It's always fun to hear. There's no dumb moments with joy.
Yes.
Thank you so
I
much for
like
that
I like I
insight.
like I like I like the way Joy put it. And I mean, if her dad was in tune with the times, he'd probably be one of the greatest Samsung partners in Nigeria today, or
Yeah.
the Nokia or
Mhm.
iPhone partners. And because
Yeah.
at that, I mean, a lot of the phone sellers don't travel, but if he had traveled and had contacts with Europe, he would have gotten in contact with Nokia and, of course, easily shifted his attention to China, and then probably should be in Bahamas sipping pina colada
Yeah.
or something right now.
Yes, he
But
traveled, but Jesus is the way. Jesus is coming soon, and that's why people like this one have missed out on revolution. Jesus is
yeah,
so. That's what I'm saying. People, you put all these things before reality. Yeah, my
Yeah.
dad traveled, well traveled, but for every time they brought to say Jesus is coming soon, things of the world. These are things of
can
the
you
world.
imagine?
So
Oh my
yeah,
God.
exactly. So we're saying
Mm.
to people, AI is not things of the world. As much as people will, sorry, that's interesting of putting a very nice panel. People would deviate. It's like
Mm.
social media. There are plenty of people that are deviating from what social media is supposed to be. But
Mm.
does it mean we will not be on social media? David, I saw when they were introducing me, Mama Cybershit, I'm an advocate for mothers and tech. I feel like parenting is
Mm.
different now. If you're still
Yeah.
parenting
Mm.
the old style, you are on a long thing. So it's the same thing that is happening. If you are still that thinking that you're just going to get lost. It's not their things, our thing. So it's the same thing with parenting. Lots of parents are still parenting the old style. Your children are at home. Your child can be indoor, but is worse than
Mm.
a child who goes out every day in the
Yeah.
world of today. So that's how
Mhm.
AI is. We need to get inside so that we can understand what the risk is and we can, safeguard ourselves, our children, our environment.
Yeah. Something happened to me a few days ago, which is actually why I raised my hands. I was at the Abu Dhabi airport, and I mean, the ticket I had was a very simple ticket where I didn't need to check in my bags. And then I saw self-check-in. And of course, the geek in me rejoiced. And then I did not go to the counter to do the bag drop off. I went to the self-check-in and self-service. It was not self-check-in, they call it
Mm.
self-service. And while I was still talking, so my travel luggage allowance was 7 kg. I was still trying to talk to the attendant to say, so what's up? How does this work? And I was still talking. And the thing said, hello, Tosin Shobukola, you're welcome.
Mm.
And I promise you, I did not book, even though I flew on Etihad,
Mm.
I I don't remember giving Etihad my passport. No, they had my
Mm.
passport because I
Mm.
flew in. I was on my way
Yeah.
out. But I don't remember giving Etihad any picture of mine. I don't remember.
Mm.
I know I
Mm.
got it to visit the UAE, but I don't remember, all those things. But how did it know my name? My
Mm.
flight was still 5 hours time. So even though check-in had
Mm.
opened 1 or 2 days earlier, how did it know that this black guy was Tosin Shobukola? What did it see?
Mm.
I mean, for me, I was excited, but for the first
This.
time,
Yeah.
I was
You
scared.
were
Not
scared.
scared like
Yeah.
afraid, but
Yeah.
I'm still worried because
As
for
long
me,
as it's
Mhm.
UAE, I can tell you what's happening. UAE now has cameras that take
Cameras. Yeah.
as it's sending the camera signals, your
Feed.
camera
Yeah.
positions
All over.
okay, well, so maybe
rolling
it's a
on.
UAE government thing or whatever.
Yeah,
But
so
for
it's rolling
Yeah.
on a
me,
Mm.
particular database and then it's matching you to that. So that's how
Yeah.
he was able to, yeah.
Mm.
exactly. So, but it was so so that is the practical. The non-practical that I want to say is that
Mm.
in the open market, maybe not for corporates, in the open
Mm.
market, we have entered it, whether you like it or not. whether you like it or not, the data you submit, you will
Yeah.
buy on Amazon.
Mm.
They know you bought groceries. That thing that you take that you don't want everybody to know, Amazon
We
knows.
know.
Amazon knows. And
Yeah.
when you want to buy it again,
Yeah.
they will tell you it has finished. Try this one.
Mm.
Mm.
When
Or,
so
or
I
even
don't know.
anticipate
I'm not
when it's
sounding
going to
techie now,
finish.
but
Yeah.
sorry.
Or even anticipate when it's going to finish and put
Yeah,
you
they will
on
anticipate
reorder.
when it's going to finish, and
Yeah.
they'll tell you that your supply should be running low. Place
Exactly.
another
Yeah.
one because there's Black
Yes.
Friday promo. You can get it
Yep.
cheap.
Yep. Yep.
So as much as we've protected a lot of stuff, the only way to go now is to just go back to Nokia 3310
Analog.
and
No, 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 no.
don't take pictures again. And then
No.
when they say they are collecting biometrics, don't drop your
No, no.
biometric, turn your finger
Mm.
upside down, and don't. I think that's just the only way. But this personalization thing, it's even more than there's a part for corporates, like Joy has said. There's a part for corporates where corporates needs to now reanalyze and reevaluate because everything that has done as cancelled. They approve Canva. There's AI inside. So can I say design a logo for Tosi and Sons Limited? But and Joy and Sam had just finished the $14 million audit where they approved all everything has cancelled now. It has cancelled. They have to start again. So because if I mean, let me just pause there. I can see hands up, so let me just pause there. But I think the message has been passed.
Very, 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 very interesting and insightful discussion. I mean, I'm just taking it in. I'm sure our audience are also doing that. I see David's hand up
Oh,
first,
oh yeah.
and
But I just wanted to add like something to like what was said. So I mean, what everyone has been saying, what Madam Jai was saying, what Satoshi Sasama said earlier. So it's one of those things where at the beginning of this year, I thought to myself, I need to start changing how I approach learning security, right? Because of the nature of my work, the company that I also work with are trying to really drive like the frontier of like Gen AI security and all of that. So I have to do like the security aspect. But then I started like just thinking that there are many other aspects to this that I'm not an expert or anything in all of that, but it would just be good just to start considering these also. So this is not just like a technology discussion, right? So they are like the technologists and the researchers that are creating the models. They are the experts like in different domain fields, like Mr. Sam, that's applying it to like maybe IoT and robotics, like some people in security, some people in data, in health and other stuff. So those are like maybe practitioners that are applying AI, but then they are like the ethicists that we also need to pay attention to, which is like essentially like what's like the potential, because again, we know this is not from just pure security. It is like what's the potential like direction to where this is taking us to, like the quotes that MJ gave earlier. So now I'm beginning to add like AI ethicists and skeptics in my note as some of the people that, and I have like certain names that I follow who are like skeptics that are like, hey, I'm a bit skeptical of where all of this is going. And some other people are like, oh, I'm looking at it from a pure humanity perspective and how, human machine relationship and all that stuff. So I just wanted to throw that in there. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That is really, really great. Sam, yeah, I see.
Yeah. So thank you, MG. I just wanted to add to it. I think TS made that submission earlier on, but it's a good point to, like David said, understand where this is going. And that's where the whole of this last week or this week, when the whole DeepSeek thing started, we realized that the US, Senate and Congress started, pushing policies, frameworks, how even Trump at some point was saying that it is a blow to American technology, right? And I know we're going to come to, that side of it, but this is where I believe that just to, I can imagine the look on TS face when that happened, right? And it's got to the time where we need our government to play an active role. I was in a conversation a couple of months ago, and it was interesting to know that Mauritius actually had I think AI emerging technology policy right? As far back as probably 20 years ago. And it's high time that, especially for us in this dispensation, for our government and policymakers to take a keen interest in it. Because look, now, as David will say, cyber warfare. This thing we are rejoicing, say, hey, DeepSeek is fast. Opinion is, and by the way, I think yesterday, OpenAI also released the deep thinking mode in OpenAI, which already was something that DeepSeek brought up. So you can see that if governments don't get involved, and we sit and think it's just something, we need to craft policies to align the use of it. And that's why you're seeing the likes of US and China taking the lead in it. See, someone says that the next global war is going to be a cyber one. And we need government and policymakers to start drafting and frameworks on the ethical use of AI and what it means, for our government, our institution. Look, we're all running to digitization. Imagine if you have compromise in our national grid because you're going digital. So, in as much as we're discussing, like David said, we're discussing all the good parts of it, we need to make it a point to say, look, we need to put resources behind it, put expertise behind it, and anticipate where this can take us. Today we are seeing deep fakes, voices being cloned, allegations and issues being put on government appointees and stuff like that. So it's both sides, like a two-edged sword. As you're looking at the positive side of it, we also need to encourage and come to the table with stakeholders and policy and government to say, hey, you people, if it means you need to have a whole ministry or department to look into this, you need to look at it, because we're getting to the point where it's infused, like Tia said, it is infused everywhere, whether you like it or not. And I'll leave it here because I know we're going to talk about some part of it. So I think that's just what I wanted to add to it.
Thank you so much, Sam. Thank you. Joy. Do you still want to buttress, because I see you left a message in the chat window that the people behind there don't even know where it is going. We all are just moving along.
Yeah.
It's
You can go on, MJ. Let's
all right.
go.
Thank you so much. Well, I know. I mean, I wish my software engineering lead in Ashem, if he were to be on this call now, I'm sure he would have jotted a lot of things down for me to say. All of the initiative around the AI move that MJ has brought about this year. So he wants to he's going to tackle me on that. But I mean, very, very brilliant conversation. And one of the things I also want to say is this, just like, which is very vital, we cannot leave AI in the hands of this OEM or these vendors or these guys that are just playing around all of this model and all of this. But the government really need to come in here. It's quite very, very vital. They really need to come in. Thank you guys for that. So we just take a 5 minutes break. But the break is not that we're going off the call. So the 5 minutes break is that if we have any of our audience, anyone in the audience that just have a question with a raise of hand, or you want to contribute to the conversation with a raise of hand, you can just let us know, and then I can unmute you, and then have you come up, ask your question. We'll just take one or two questions from our audience. If anyone, let me move over there. So we just want to hear thoughts. See, I know a lot of you have been following on with the conversation. Yes, great. So I see TA. I don't know who this is, but I'm going to unmute you and then also allow your camera in case you want to show us your face. All right, TA, you are unmuted. I mean, your audio is enabled and your camera is enabled, so you can go on, please.
Hi, good evening. Thank you so much for this opportunity to ask this question. And it was very, very, very amazing for me to be here today, because I really, really enjoyed the conversations from the speakers. So for me, I guess this was an honor. I actually have 5 questions, but I mean, just in order for me not to resting my speech. So at the initial point of this conversation, right? The point was about is engulfed around the whole idea of competition. So my question is, with the excitement of AI, so when we have these whole things with like ChatGPT and DeepSeek, how do companies begin the process of being competitive if everyone's embracing these technologies, right? How do organizations operating within the same space, for example, how do they maintain their niche? So that's my first question. And also, because I'm more of like from a political point of view, political history and whatnot. So my question is, we have a situation whereby with these technological advancements, are we seeing an erosion of national sovereignty, particularly nations, particularly for us that are situated in the global south, right? Um, are we going to find ourselves in a situation whereby we're going to be left behind? And the reason why I raise is because of the fact that there was a project we were working on a couple of months ago, and this was surrounding tech, and we're trying to like get, for example, the country we're dealing with was the DRC, all right? And we found out that they don't have anything like GDPR or what we have here in Nigeria. And I was like, I couldn't understand how a nation state in this day and age is unable to like actually have policies geared towards tech and IT and whatnot, right? So I mean, if we are being so, it seems as though once more we are being slow or we are being late to the game. So how on earth are we going to? So what is the process? Is it like a rapid process to actually I don't know, rejig, for the lack of a better word. And so I'm so sorry. This I guess my most important question to actually want to ask, right, is this one. For example, now me myself, and also to follow up what Joy mentioned earlier on about the fact that the interfaces will always focus on, for example, she used the example of content creators, right? They just like see the output. But so for someone like me who is not in the tech world, who is always enjoying the output, right? Do you think, I mean, how do we begin to, for lack of better words again, re-educate ourselves? Do we really need to understand the back end and whatnot as to how the things work for us to actually be able to like take full cognizance and take full and for us to fully embrace the promises of AI and whatnot? And also, how do we begin that process of actually re-educating ourselves to understand I get the minutiae or the intricacies of this space? Thank you so much. So those are my questions.
Interesting. MJ, you're muted.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's a very great question, TA. I mean, your line of thoughts, I really appreciate it. So I'll be calling one after the other. I think the number 3 question, I think, is directed to Joy. And then the number 2 question, I'll take that to Tosin. And then number 1, Sam and David, you guys are going to buttress and then throw some light on it, I think. Are we good? And even if Joy gives a question, I mean, an answer to the question, if there is any way you want to buttress on what someone already has said, please go ahead and do that. Thank you. Yes, Joy, you have your hands up. You have your hand up. I mean,
yeah, thank you very much. I think I can almost predict who was talking, and I'm not surprised the person is the one saying those questions. He's a very, very he challenges thoughts. It's one of those Gen Zs that will challenge you. But but you know, your last question is very perfect. You are in one of those forums that you need to be in to know how these things work, right? And everybody's not going to be a back end techie person. David says something that he's gradually even understanding that before he even pays attention to all this techie that he's doing, there's another side of security that doesn't involve the whole configuration and compilation and his understanding. So we as people who are expertise in this space, what we're saying to ourselves is it's our responsibility to begin to educate, begin to create awareness through forums like this on this emerging artificial intelligence, its role, its impact, safe and responsible ways to use it. And that's what you're doing. So I feel that you're on the right path. And what we say to people like you, young people like you who are not techies, when you come and learn from this, replicate this your own way. So in that your space, if you're a TikToker, create content around this. We're happy to join you. I've joined TikTok too, because like I said, you have to live in the reality of the game. You have to so that you don't be, I don't want to be left behind like my father to know what is happening. So you need to, when you come to forums like this and here, you translate the knowledge you have gotten here into the way your own generation or your own set of people will understand it, and you relate it like that. And that's what we call user awareness, and education. So for me, simple answer is that you're on the